Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us here today. Fernando Spagnolo, Police Chief here in Waterbury, joined by Colonel Stavros Malikas from the Connecticut State Police and some members of his major crime squad. On December 8th, yesterday, there was an incident up on Marley Place here in Waterbury. Waterbury Police had received information from the New Britain Police Department that they were looking for Robert Harrison. He was wanted in connection with a kidnapping with a firearm that occurred in New Britain the previous overnight, December 7th into the 8th. The Waterbury Police Auto Theft Task Force, along with the Waterbury Police Street Crimes Unit, set up a surveillance of a stolen motor vehicle on Marley Place here in Waterbury that resembled the description of a vehicle used in that kidnapping in New Britain. As the officers were conducting that surveillance, they saw Robert Harrison walk up Marley Place towards that stolen motor vehicle. The officers moved in and took Harrison into custody at that point. As the officers were conducting that operation, taking Harrison into custody, the officers recognized and noticed two SUVs that were later identified as stolen SUVs, revving their engines and beginning to proceed at a high rate of speed up Marley Place towards the officers who were conducting the investigation and taking Robert Harrison into custody. Those vehicles crashed into several police cars that were located on Marley Place. At some point during the incident, Officer Garrett Pagel, a Waterbury police officer assigned to the Street Crimes Unit, a 5-year police officer with the Waterbury Police Department, discharged his firearm. One of those rounds struck Officer Charles Moriello in the vest, in his chest. Officer Moriello is a 6-year veteran of the Waterbury Police Department who is currently assigned to the Auto Theft Task Force. Officers on scene immediately rendered aid to Officer Moriello and transported him to St. Mary's Hospital, where he received exceptional treatment and has been treated and released and is now convalescing at home. Robert Harrison remained in custody while other officers guarded him at the scene. During the course of this incident, Officer Mark Chereau, who was also assigned to the Auto Theft Task Force, was in a vehicle that was rammed by the stolen SUVs. Officer Chereau sustained a significant concussion. He was transported to St. Mary's Hospital, where he was held for an extended period of time. He has now been released and he's convalescing at home. The Connecticut State Police continue to investigate the use of force and the discharge of the Waterbury police officer's firearm. I have full confidence in their investigation. The investigation is being overseen by Litchfield State's Attorney Dawn Gallo. As we continue to have information and we can release it to you, we will. Currently at this time, that's all I have to say. Colonel?
Good afternoon. If you have any questions, I'm going to have Sergeant Joseph Duva from the Major Crime Squad, Western District. He's overseeing an investigation for the Connecticut State Police. Joe?
Good afternoon. I'm Sergeant Joseph Duva with the Western District Major Crime. Well, we are detailed by the State's Attorney's Office to conduct a use of force investigation involving the Waterbury police officers. As of this time, we are currently investigating the situation where it is ongoing. And upon further information, you will be notified as the ongoing investigation continues. That's all I have to say right now. If there's any questions.
Who do you believe that the officer intended to shoot at? Was it one of the suspect vehicles coming down the hill?
Well, the officer was attempting to stop the threat that he was placed in. The intended target was for him to stop that threat as it was progressing. The intended target was only to stop that threat as it was progressing at the very fluid scene that they were at.
The threat being one of the vehicles coming
That is correct.
Okay.
Correct. There was 2 vehicles involved, both of which drove at a very aggressive manner towards multiple officers. The actions of the officers also potentially put the harm away from the suspect that was taken into custody. So the threat was coming at them, and the action was taken against that threat.
Were any of the suspects injured?
At this time, no suspects were injured. That is correct.
How many suspects, either for you, Chief, or you, are in custody at this point?
At this point, I'll let the chief answer that question.
So Robert Harrison was in custody. We have charges for him here in Waterbury. We anticipate charging him with at least one shooting. He is a suspect in numerous shootings that have occurred here in Waterbury over the course of the last 2 weeks. We continue to investigate those. He's been turned over to the New Britain Police Department, where he was arraigned on charges of kidnapping with a firearm, conspiracy to commit kidnapping with a firearm, and reckless endangerment this morning at the New Britain Judicial District. There's a juvenile that we've identified as the operator of one of those stolen SUVs. It was on Marley Place. It is in custody and he's been charged. This is a prolific car thief. He has 4 pending auto theft arrests for 2020 here and only in the Waterbury Police Department. I can't comment on anybody else's activity with him. And as far as the auto theft case and those kids, that's an ongoing investigation. There are several people we intend to identify and bring charges towards in that part of the investigation. That's all we have for you now. We really appreciate your time. As soon as we have more information, our PIOs will get that out to you, and we'll have another press conference. Thank you.